How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And I really do appreciate you taking your time tuning in to today's video. I got a real good one for you guys today. The ATF has used encrypted apps and text messages to communicate with the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. The House Oversight Accountability Committee says the Biden-Harris administration is pretty much stonewalling their investigation in potential collusion with a gun control group funded by, guess who? Billionaire and former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, to help Chicago's lawsuit against gun manufacturer Glock. And since June, the ATF nor the White House have responded to multiple inquiries from the committee. And on Wednesday, August 28th, the ATF missed its most recent deadline to respond to the committee. And the chairman of the committee is James Comer, who is a Republican from Kentucky. And listen to what he had to say. The American people should be very concerned that rather than prosecuting criminals, the Biden-Harris White House is colluding with anti-Second Amendment groups, and rather than responding to serious congressional requests with transparency, the White House is choosing not to comply with our request. The committee has been investigating the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention's communications with the Everytown for gun safety in regards to a lawsuit by the city of Chicago against Glock. Back in September of 2023, the White House announced their new Office of Gun Violence Prevention. And since Kamala Harris did so well as the border czar, they also chose her to oversee the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. They also named a director to that office, and the name of that person is Stephanie Feldman. In June, the chairman of the committee, Mr. Comer, wrote a letter to the director of ATF, Stephen Dettelbach, and also Director Feldman, the Director of Gun Violence Prevention, and inquired about a case in which the Biden-Harris administration was communicating with Michael Bloomberg's Everytown for gun safety, and at that time was providing legal assistance to the city of Chicago for its lawsuit against Glock. And then in August, Mr. Comer wrote to ATF Director Stephen Dettelbach after the committee found out that the ATF used encrypted apps and text messages to communicate with officials in the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. Mr. Comer also said the committee never received documents from the ATF related from its communications with the White House. He said, "We're not going to allow the White House to get away with ignoring these requests, and will continue to ensure accountability." Representatives from the White House even met with representatives from Glock. The White House wanted Glock to change its design of its pistols because they say their pistols can be easily converted to automatic. And that's why the city of Chicago is suing Glock. And tell me if you think this is a coincidence or not. The Chicago filed this lawsuit against Glock in March, and it just so happens the same day, Everytown for gun safety president John Feinblatt posted on X, federal officials recently contacted Glock to discuss implementing new ways to modify Glock pistols to make it harder for Glock switches to be installed. Rather than help, Glock falsely insisted there is nothing they can do. And on June 15th, a letter was sent to Ms. Feldman, the Director of Gun Violence Prevention. Mr. Comer wrote, because this was a private meeting between the White House and Glock, Mr. Feinblatt seemed to have inside access to the White House meeting, which raises questions about collusion with your office. Chairman Comer then asked for communications between any individual at the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention, the ATF, Everytown for gun safety, and Everytown law related to Glock in Chicago. And in July of this year, Chicago and Everytown requested dismissal of the original complaint and then filed an expanded complaint that still included Glock, Glock-related companies, and 2 gun stores. It's very obvious that the White House Office for Gun Violence Prevention is colluding with Everytown and the city of Chicago in this lawsuit against Glock. And why would the ATF have to use encrypted messages when communicating to the Office of Gun Violence Prevention when it comes to discussing the lawsuit against Glock? Because they're colluding with them. I would really like to hear your thoughts about today's video in the comments section down below. And after watching today's video, I hope you share it with everybody that you know, because I think it's very important they know what the heck is going on. And if you enjoyed today's video and you want to help the channel out and help it grow, besides sharing this video, you also can give the video a thumbs up subscribe and hit those post notifications, and I really would appreciate it. And I invite you to come back and watch my next video.